When that light first appeared, Tommy laughed. When it started coming toward us, he stopped laughing.
What did it look like?
Like somebody walking down the tracks carrying an old railroad lantern.
Could you see the person holding it?
No, but I believe he could see us.
Welcome to Ironclad After Dark, where we explore the history, legends, and unsettling stories hiding along the Carolina coast. Tonight, we are traveling back to the old railroad community of Maco, just west of Wilmington. For generations, people reported seeing a mysterious light floating above the railroad tracks. Some called it swamp gas. Others blamed automobile headlights. But local legend offered a darker explanation. They said it was the lantern of a railroad conductor named Joe Baldwin, walking the tracks night after night, searching for the head he lost in a terrible collision. Apparently, dying was not enough to get Joe off the night shift.
Railroad must have had a strict attendance policy.
Either that, or the man had one impressive work ethic.
Well, when you lose your head on the job, I suppose filing a resignation becomes difficult.
My guest tonight is Eli Mercer. In the late 1960s, Eli and three friends went looking for the Maco Light. They found it. Eli, thank you for joining me.
Glad to be here.
You say that like you're still relieved to be anywhere.
After that night, waking up anywhere was good news.
Before we get to what you witnessed, tell me what people said about the light when you were growing up.
Everybody around Wilmington knew the story. Joe Baldwin was supposed to have been riding in the last car of a train when it came uncoupled. Another train was coming up behind him, so Joe stood on the back platform waving his lantern, trying to warn the engineer. The engineer never stopped. The second train smashed into Joe's car. They found his body, but according to the story, they never found his head. Afterward, people began seeing a light moving along the tracks. They said it was Joe's lantern.
And he was searching for his missing head?
That was the story.
That seems like something you would want to keep track of.
Joe probably thought so too, but by then he was no longer thinking clearly.
Did you believe the legend?
Not at all. I was 17 years old. At 17, a boy believes he is immortal, irresistible, and much smarter than every adult in the county.
Usually all three beliefs disappear by Monday morning.
Mine disappeared in Maco.
Who went with you?
My cousin June, my friend Tommy, and Tommy's girlfriend Linda. We drove out in Tommy's old Chevrolet. It was August, hot, wet, and so humid you could have grown gills. We parked near the tracks around 11 that night. We had flashlights, a thermos of coffee, and absolutely no common sense.
The traditional equipment of teenage ghost hunters.
Exactly. We walked down the tracks until the road disappeared behind us. There was swamp on both sides. The frogs were calling, insects were buzzing, and every few minutes Tommy would throw a rock into the brush to scare Linda.
A bold strategy for a man surrounded by witnesses who could identify his body.
June finally told him, "If something eats you, we're telling your mother it was natural causes."
So, when did the atmosphere change?
About 20 minutes after midnight, the frogs stopped. Then the insects stopped.
All at once?
Every one of them. People think silence is peaceful. It isn't. Not when the whole swamp decides to become silent at the same time. It felt like everything around us was listening. Then June whispered, "There it is."
What did you see?
A small white light far down the tracks. At first it looked like a star sitting directly above the rail. But stars don't swing from side to side. This did, slowly, back and forth, like a lantern carried by somebody walking toward us.
Could it have been a person?
That's what I told myself. But there was no outline, no legs, no body. Just that light floating about 4 feet above the tracks.
How far away was it?
Maybe 300 yards when we first saw it. Then it started getting closer.
How quickly?
Too quickly. Tommy shouted, "Hey, Joe, find your head yet?"
He actually said that?
Yes, sir.
Never heckle a headless railroad conductor.
That is a sentence Tommy would have benefited from hearing earlier. The light stopped.
Immediately after he called out?
Immediately. It hung there over the tracks, perfectly still. Then it turned red.
The light changed color?
White to red, just like a hot coal when somebody blows on it. Then we heard something strike the rail. Clangor. A few seconds later it struck again, but closer. Clangor. Then closer again. Clangor.
Was the light moving with the sound?
Every time that rail rang, the light jumped closer. Not walked, jumped. One moment it was 200 yards away, then 100, then 50. That was when Tommy decided he had completed enough paranormal research for one evening.
You ran.
We ran like the Lord had personally called roll at the truck. Tommy reached it first. Linda was right behind him. June and I were maybe 30 feet back when the light disappeared.
Just vanished.
Completely. The insects started again. The frogs started calling. Everything seemed normal. Then June grabbed my arm. She was looking past me, back toward the tracks.
What did she see?
The light was behind us. It had crossed several hundred feet without making a sound. Now it was hovering between us and the truck.
How close?
Close enough to cast our shadows. But the strange thing was the color of the light. It looked pale and cold, almost blue. It lit up the rails, the weeds, and June's face. But I couldn't see where the light came from. There was no flame, no bulb, nothing inside it. Then I smelled coal smoke.
Was there a train nearby?
Not a living one. Somewhere in the darkness, we heard the sound of a train moving toward us. The rails began to vibrate under our feet.
But you couldn't see a train.
Nothing except the light. Then I heard a man's voice.
What did he say?
He said my name.
Eli?
Clear as you just said it, not shouted, whispered, right beside my ear. Then the light rushed toward us.
What happened?
June screamed. I pulled her off the tracks and into the ditch. The light shot past us so fast it left a white streak in the air. Then it was gone. We reached the truck, climbed inside, and Tommy drove away before I got the passenger door completely closed.
Did anyone look back?
Linda did. She started crying.
Why?
She said the light was following us. Not along the road, through the trees. It kept pace with the truck for nearly a mile. Every time Tommy sped up, it sped up. Every time he slowed down, it moved closer. Then we crossed Hood's Creek, and it disappeared.
Was that the end of it?
I thought so. The next morning, I found a black mark on the back of my shirt. It looked like a handprint made from coal soot.
Could it have come from the railroad tracks?
Maybe.
You don't sound convinced.
The handprint was upside down.
As though the person making it had been
Standing on the other side of me. Or hanging above me.
Critics have suggested the Maco Light was caused by swamp gas or automobile headlights reflecting along the tracks. Is that possible?
I've seen headlights. I've seen swamp gas. Neither one has ever called me by name.
Could fear have influenced what you remembered?
Certainly. Memory changes. People add details. Stories grow in the telling. I can't prove Joe Baldwin was walking those tracks, but 4 of us saw that light. 3 of us heard the train. June and I heard the voice, and none of us ever went back.
What about Tommy, the one who challenged Joe?
For the rest of his life, Tommy refused to talk about Maco. If someone mentioned the light, he would leave the room.
So he finally learned when to keep his mouth shut.
Only took a headless ghost to teach him.
Historical research suggests that the legend may have grown from the death of a real conductor named Charles Baldwin in 1856. He suffered fatal head injuries in a railroad accident near the area. Over time, Charles may have become Joe. An accident became a decapitation. A warning lantern became a ghostly light. Does learning that make the story less frightening to you?
No. People think proving part of a legend wrong proves all of it wrong. Maybe his name wasn't Joe. Maybe he wasn't decapitated. Maybe he wasn't searching for his head. But something was on those tracks. History can forget a man's name without the place forgetting what happened to him.
The railroad tracks were removed in 1977, and reported sightings largely ended afterward. Why would removing the tracks stop a ghost?
Maybe Joe finally understood there weren't any more trains to warn.
Or perhaps he moved on.
Maybe.
You don't believe that.
A man can lose his job, his name, his railroad, even his head, and still report for duty. That is either dedication or the worst retirement plan in North Carolina history.
The tracks are gone, but the legend remains. Was the Maco Light a ghostly lantern, a natural phenomenon, reflected headlights, or simply a story carried through generations until history and folklore became impossible to separate? Whatever the answer, people who witnessed the light rarely forgot it. And perhaps that is how certain places become haunted, not because the dead refuse to leave, but because the living refuse to forget. Eli, one final question. If the tracks were still there, would you return?
In daylight, with 20 people, a minister, and a truck that was already running.
That sounds cautious.
That sounds like experience. Lewis,
Yes?
did you leave that lantern burning behind me?
There isn't a lantern behind you.